Morning, everyone. Okay, let's wait for a few minutes and then maybe we can get started.
Sir, I have stopped the recording. Once you start the
Sure,
session, please yeah, you can start it. Okay.
sure. I'll take it. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's get started slowly. So today would be the last free session for the ADF for the Azure and Fabric, right? What we started. So fifth and the last free session. So at any point of time, maybe if you have any questions, please feel free to ask or maybe write it down, and then maybe we can connect at the end of the session, right? So anything related to this course, anything related to what all is covered, maybe why there is a requirement. Again, we have already gone through it. But if you really need that information again, please feel free to ask that. Right. So let me start sharing my screen. Yeah. So we are into the Azure portal now. I mean, just to continue with what we have discussed until yesterday, the components of ADF, right? So what exactly is the ADF? Why there is a need of ETL, types of loads, types of extraction, and why, I mean, what all components are present rather in the ADF, right? So we have gone through every component of ADF, especially the integration runtime. We have not covered completely. I mean, few might have few more questions also, but that we would be covering going further, right? Covering in the sense, the one who have understood, okay, that's how it behaves, the integration runtime behaves. It checks the compatibility. That's it. So going further, maybe once you get more idea on the other components, once you try to use this ADF on frequent basis, then you may have a better understanding at some point of time. Then we can discuss that integration runtime in detail again. So along with integration runtime, there is one more component in ADF, which is called as data flows. Now, it's not a component you can call, it's a pipeline only. An automated activity pipeline is called as data flow. Now that's different. That we will discuss that maybe after 4 or 5 sessions or probably next to next week, where we will get a more clarity on the other pipelines and other components in detail. So just to get started with, today what we would be doing is we will be going through one more additional service, which is called as storage account. Now, I'll not start using ADF directly because many of us have not activated the Azure portals. but I'll start with the another service. Another in the sense it's a independent, or maybe whenever we use ADF, we need to have this service activated parallelly also, because it can be used for a source or destination. So that particular service is called as storage account. Now, what exactly is the storage account? How, what all use cases we have with that particular storage account, right? So it's one of the standalone service which is available in Azure. It's a standalone service. So let's understand the exact meaning of the storage account. So let me open the whiteboard as well. Okay, so let's consider that you are using your mobile, or you are using your laptop or desktop, any particular device which you use on daily basis. So if you click a picture, right? If you click a picture, maybe image, a photo. So this image will be stored somewhere in the account, maybe in the background, somewhere it will be stored, right, in a device. Let's suppose you are clicking a picture on your mobile. Most of the times, this picture gets stored inside a camera folder. There is a folder called as camera. So if you go to the file explorer, inside this file explorer, you have a camera folder, and inside camera folder also you have certain other subfolders like DCIM, right? We have subfolders. So you have certain folders dedicated to particular component which you use, maybe a camera or a pic, it would be stored here. So if you try to take a video also, somewhere it would be stored in subfolder in camera called as video subfolder, right? Video subfolder, that would be video subfolder. Or if you try to download any information from a browser or any online application, you try to download something, right, in your mobile, it would be stored in your downloads folder, right? So for every component which you try to use it in your mobile, not only mobile, any particular device, that component would be stored somewhere, right? So similarly, storage account is nothing but a storage service. Storage account is nothing but a storage service. So let's compare it with the same folders example, the file explorer or the local drive C, local drive tree. We have drives in your in a laptop or desktop also, right? So in every drive you have folders, and in every folder you have subfolders, and in every subfolder you can have subfolders. So that's how the original hierarchy is whenever you store any particular information. Same is the case with storage account. So storage account is what? It's a storage service. It's a storage service. So it can store any kind of data. It can store any kind of data. Now, there are different names for the storage account. Originally, the service name is called as storage account. But there are some other names also. Like you can call this as ADLS. You can call this as ADLS. Now, what is ADLS? We will discuss. And sometimes these are called as blobs. So there is a difference. See, in case of blob, I'm writing everything in capital. So what is ADLS? ADLS is nothing but Azure Data Lake Service. So what is data lake? What is data lake? Now, I'm not sure how many of you know, when we started with SQL, we already covered what is the difference between data lake, data mart, data warehouse, or data warehouse, data mart, and database. So just to go through it again, if you are comparing data lake, so data lakes are sometimes now called as one lake, because data lake can take any data, even if it is structured, unstructured, fully unstructured, raw material, anything can be dumped. Image, video, file, folder, PDF, any data format or any file format it has, it can be dumped into data lake, because data lake is so flexible that it can take any kind of data, right? It can take any kind of data. So sometimes it is called as one lake, because in within one lake only you're dumping all the kind of data. So if you're comparing data lake, if you're comparing data warehouse, if you're comparing data mart, now we already covered it, but just to go through it. And at the last, there is a database. This is DB, database. So what would be the primary difference between these four components? See, let's take a very small example. A small example in the sense, maybe you're trying to consider an example of mobile itself, right? A mobile itself. So a mobile can be manufactured using many components, right? Many other components. Now, mobile is a combination of many components tightly packed together. That's what the mobile is. It has a camera, it has a, memory. I mean, with the background, you have a storage. In the background, you have a battery. So you have motherboard. So there are many things, right? Display, you have that mobile body. So you have to set up all these things. So I mean, take an example of Samsung itself. A Samsung has many models in it, right? It is not that Samsung only produces one or two phones, right? It has many models in it. So if the Samsung is manufacturing that mobile, it would be manufactured at that particular manufacturing sites, right? So a data lake is called as a manufacturing site. A data lake is called as a manufacturing site. Why? Because in data lake, all the raw material is kept. Now, data lake can take a finished material also, but a factory is where all the raw materials are kept. That is where you combine all that raw materials to form a finished product. Now, once that mobile is manufactured, it would be going to some warehouses, right? So warehouses in the sense, it is, if a Samsung is manufacturing, it is not directly coming to the customer, right? It goes through certain processes. So data warehouse is where your information, the manufactured information is stored. Now in data warehouse, you have many sub-components. Like if a Samsung is manufacturing mobiles, they have S series mobiles, they have M series mobiles, they have A series mobiles, right? So there are many mobiles which are available. Now we have some fold mobiles also, Z series, Samsung Z fold mobiles or flip mobiles. So different types of models are stored in different locations. Now different locations in the sense, one warehouse can have different subsections, right? So one section will have S series components only, one section will have M series, one section will have A series, and the last section will have Z series components. So these individual series, these individual bifurcations are called as data marts, like S subcomponent, M subcomponent, A subcomponent. These are data marts. So a data mart is a combination. I mean, whereas a data warehouse is a combination of multiple data marts. In data warehouse, you have multiple data marts combined together to form a complete data warehouse. So what is data mart? Data mart is what? Similar, a group of similar components. Data mart is nothing but a group of similar components which combine together to form a complete data warehouse. And what is data warehouse? Where all the finished products are available. So data lake can have all the unstructured data. Now, data warehouse is not purely structured, because even though the mobile is manufactured, it is not going to any client or what, right? It is stored somewhere. So this is called a semi-structured. Now, you can call it as a structured also, but mostly it is semi-structured. Now, data mart is what? Data mart itself is a semi-structured, right? So it's a combination of multiple data marts which forms the data warehouse. And at the last, which is database, means you visit any particular shop or a person is trying to purchase that device. that is called as database. The database is purely structured. It is purely structured. There is no unstructured information here. So you have to consider any particular example. I've just taken it as mobile. You consider any example. You use any product which you're using on day-to-day life, right? So if you consider any household item also, if you're considering any spices, a spice or a masala box is a combination of multiple other spices, right? So where the spices are manufactured, a manufacturing site or a, I mean, factory, that is called as data lake, where you have all the raw material. Then that masalas go through different packages, different data warehouses, right? Where all similar spices are kept. So that different similar spices where you have similar set of data are called as individual data marts, which combine together to form a data warehouse. And once they are sold or once they are coming into the retail shops where individual purchases, that are called as databases. Databases are purely structured. Data warehouse are also structured, but it is not fully. So sometimes they are called as semi-structured, and data lakes are fully unstructured. So this is the primary difference between data lake, warehouse, mart, and database. Now, if I switch back to what we were discussing with respect to storage account. So storage account is what? Is it, I mean, the name itself says, right? It is also sometimes called as ADLS, Azure Data Lake Service. That means, what is data lake? Data lake has all the raw materials. And raw materials means what? It can take purely unstructured data. So it doesn't mean if it is unstructured, it should be unstructured. It can take structured data also. If it is structured, it cannot take unstructured data. If it is unstructured, it can take structured data as well. So in that case, a storage account can take any data. That is the reason it is called as ADLS, Azure Data Lake Service. And sometimes it is also called as blob. What is blob? Binary large object. Binary large object. The blob long form is binary large object. That means it can take any size of data, any size of file. If it's a very large file, if it's a binary, see, there are two types of files again. One is blob and one is clob. It can take this information also. So a storage account is so powerful that it can take any kind of data. There is no restriction that, okay, this folder cannot be dumped to storage account. No, it can take any kind of information. Like even it can take a SQL table also. There is no SQL present in it. But if you create a table and if you would like to create the structure of a table in ADLS, even that is possible. Structure in the sense, you have to write a query and you have to dump it as some folder, some file. It would be dumped, even if it's a structured, even if it is semi-structured. So storage account is so powerful that this service can take any raw material, any raw data, any structured data, any unstructured, semi-structured, all the data, including images, videos, folders, anything can be dumped into this storage account. So that's how this storage account is one of the standout service in Azure. And this is present across the other clouds also. The name might be different. So if you go to Amazon, it is called as S3. It is similar like ADLS or storage account in Azure. It is called as S3, Amazon S3. It is also a storage service. It can take any kind of data. So let's understand, there are again in storage account also there are different components. So what all components are there? Let's understand that components. Yeah, I guess someone had a question.
No, I was asking you, please, could you explain ADLS once again? Your voice, break in between for me.
Is my voice breaking for everyone?
Now it's better.
I was just checking because it's just for you or for everyone. Is my
No,
voice breaking anyway?
it's okay.
Okay,
No
okay,
problem.
no worries. So what is ADLS? ADLS is nothing but Azure Data Lake. Now we discussed what is data lake, right? Data lake is what it can take any structured, unstructured, fully raw material as well. So that's the reason storage account can take any kind of data. It can take any data. Any in the sense, if you think that this is a folder, this is newly invented, also it can dump. You can dump that folder or you can dump that file into the storage account. Blindly, you can dump. For sure, it will capture that data. It will store it in it. So that's how powerful the storage account is. Now we'll only discuss some components, right? Like in ADF, we have components. In storage account also, we have sub-components or maybe sub-categories. So let me go back. See, I already have few storage accounts which is created. Let me just open it. Now, how to create it? Once you have your Azure portal, I'll let you know how to create them. So I'll just go to the storage account. So once I open the storage account, see, it will not open like ADF because ADF will open a separate window where you can have your separate pipelines, all your development portal available, right? It is not like that. Storage account is within the Azure only. It will not open any standalone service separately. So if you see in storage account, if I come, I mean, maybe if I am scrolling towards left, in the left, you have few options. And I mean, access control, we have already seen. If you would like to give access to the storage account, this particular service only, you can give access here. You can add a person, you can give access. Now, as of now, I might be the only one. See, if I go to the role assignments, oh, Santosh is there because he's the administrator. But if you see, I and Santosh, I'm the owner of these applications at most of the times. Right. So I'm the owner here, service administrator. So let me scroll now. In storage account also, there are four types of storages. There are four types of storages. One is containers, one is file services or file shares, one is queue storage, and one is table storage. Now, what these storages are? Right? Every storage has a certain reason. Again, prior jumping to the storages, one thing you have to understand, if it's a table, that means it has to be structured. Even though ADLS can take unstructured information, but if you're dumping it to table storage, it has to look like a table. So most widely used storage component in ADLS or storage account or Blob is containers. What is a container? A container is nothing but a box. You can get the name. I mean, you can guess the name also. Container. Container is where you can store some information. In container, you can dump any kind of data. Right? So 95% of the time people go with containers. The other three are only 5%, and that too very rarely used. Because they have certain limitations, right? If it's a queue means what? There is a queue storage which is available. Now, if anyone wants to understand what is queue, you go back and search queue storage in Google, you will get how a queue looks like. Queue is nothing but it looks like something. If some person is entering a queue, so this person, let's suppose this person is person one, this person will also exit first because there is an exit here. This is entry, this is exit. So if first person is entering, so this is first in, first out. Now, one who have done engineering, they might recall this word FIFO, FILO. FIFO is first in, first out. FILO is first in, last out. So a queue is nothing but it looks like something like this. It's a queue. Right? If you visit any temple or if you visit any movie theater also, you're trying to purchase a ticket, there would be a long queue. Queue is nothing but a set of people standing in together. So queue storage is nothing but multiple files kept in a one single queue. So the file which enters first, that will also exit first, first in, first out. So sometimes there is a container where it is FILO, first in, last out. Now, these are all over and above what we are discussing, just to give you an idea. But queue is a queue storage. You will get more insights if you try to learn it from Google also. Google in the sense, you try to search it on Google. Right? So as I've said, there is a very rare chance that you might use these options. Rare in the sense, it's very, I mean, it's almost nothing to possible you will use this queue or file. Sometimes you can have a table also. Sometimes you can have a table because we know we have tables like columns, rows, all present in it, the number of information dumped in it. But file shares and queues are rarely used. Now, what is container? A container can have any kind of data dumped in it. This makes this ADLS more flexible. The container storage service makes the ADLS more flexible service because you can dump any kind of data. So if I just click on this container, in this container, you have, for me, I have created so many containers or so many folders, right? Containers are nothing but folders like downloads folder, videos folder, DCIM folder, camera folder. So in container, you can have many containers, and within that container, you can have folders also. You can create a folder here, add a directory. See, I have an option called as directory. Directory is nothing but a folder within a folder. So subfolder. So inside directory also, you can add one more directory, subfolder. So that's how the information is dumped into this containers.
So
Right. So
Ritik,
yeah, go ahead.
this the very first option, LE store, which you are showing in this container,
Hmm.
and the type is blob. So has it got just purely binary data? That is why it is given blob, or why it is so?
So let me open this new container. It is not purely binary data. It is called as blob. Why? Because storage account reads the information in case of binary. Not only storage account. If you take your own laptop, every electronic device operating system reads the information in 1 or 0 format only. The same way storage account reads the information. That's the reason it is called as blob type or blob.
So the
If
type
you
will
see the
be blob,
CSV file,
but storage will be ADLS.
names are ADLS, the names which we have discussed, these are called by that names. But whatever information you dump to this particular storage account, it reads that information in terms of blob, in terms of binary 1001. That's how the information would be read. So if you see, these are all CSV files. These are not original blob or binary files. Right? These are CSV. If you see, this is CSV file. Maybe if I go back and let me open some other folder. Yeah, these are Excel files. But even though that are Excel, it is mentioned as block blob. Why? Because it reads that information in that format, binary format.
So in what scenario we intentionally go and first select blog account, blob, yeah, account.
It is not intentionally. If you dump any data also, it would be blob. Storage account, if you dump any data, even if you dump an image also, it will be read as blob. That's the reason these are called as blobs at times.
Blob I understood, like you told from the day one when we started, we know that computer stores everything in the form of 0 1, hence blob type. I'm
Yeah.
asking, when we go and make a storage account as a blob, the second one,
Uh,
in what scenario?
we can use it as a source or destination at some point of time. If you are using ADF, if maybe most of the time storage account are destination. Why? Because we might be connecting from different sources. That all source data, where will you dump? In data warehouse. What is data warehouse? Where all the information is structured, semi-structured, or unstructured also. So this containers will act like a data warehouse or a data lakes where you can dump the data, any kind of data, if it even if it's structured or unstructured, and you can use this container as a source to Power BI. You have a direct connector available in Power BI.
Okay, the container, the word I got little understanding about the container. Actually, the two accounts that confused a bit, when to use ADLS storage account and when to use blob storage account.
Both of them are same. I have said both belong to storage account. There is this names which are different.
Okay.
As I've said, for resource, it is called as service. For service, it is called as resource because they are part of RG, resource. Same way, storage accounts are called as ADLS and that are also called as blobs.
Okay.
The names are different, yes, but both belong to same category, same functionality. Again, maybe I'll take a pause. It's been 20 minutes we're discussing. Any questions on what we discussed now? Storage accounts,
This is
ADLS, containers. Yeah,
it means every ADLS file will be in a blob type, right?
yeah.
Okay.
It's a blob only. Whatever you dump, it would be blob only. Still, any more questions?
Like the data warehouse, right? It
Hmm.
is like it is actually a cleaned like structured, right? Structured
Yeah,
into different types of data.
it's sometimes
Right?
semi-structured, not purely structured, because it has a lot of data. So database has a limited data.
Okay. I mean, the ADLS and blob storage are a little bit similar. Like it
Yeah.
stores all kinds of data, like raw.
See, one thing I can always say. Oh, my bad. I've opened the. We discussed this, right? So if you take this example, a database can take only structured information. A data lake can take structured information also. Same table can be dumped into data lake. So data lake is a superset of database because in between there is a data warehouse. Data lake is a subset of data warehouse, or maybe data warehouse is subset of data lake. That's how it is called as. So you can have one data warehouse in one data lake. You can have one database in one data lake, but you cannot have data lake in data warehouse because data warehouse is a subset. That's how the information is, right? So a data lake can take data warehouse in it. A data lake can take data mart in it. A data lake can take database in it because it can take any kind of data. It is a superset. Whereas these two are subsets, subset. You can call that way. So if a data lake contains a data warehouse, there is nothing wrong in that. But data warehouse cannot contain a data lake. Data warehouse can have database in it because database is subset of data warehouse. That's how the information flows. So if you're considering ADLS, ADLS can also be called as data warehouse. ADLS can also be called as database because it can take any kind of data. But end of the day, it is ADLS. Why? Because it is purely structured. It is purely unstructured. It takes a combination of all that information. It takes a combination of all that information, right?
Ritesh, in this
Mhm.
storage, we can only add through that add container, or we can load that data also, which we transform from
We
ETL
can
process.
load. It can take, that's what I'm trying to say. It can take clean data also. It is not always that it should be unstructured, right? There is no hard and fast rule that data lakes should have only unstructured data. It can take structured also, right? Why people choose data lake is because data lake has a flexibility. You dump structured, it will take. You dump unstructured, it will take. But in case of database, it has to be purely structured. In case of data warehouse, it has to be something cleaned, right? There is no hard and fast rule for data lake. It can take any kind of data. It's the superset, right? So it can have any kind of information in it.
Can you also show that how we can load that through the ETL process?
So that's what we will be learning, right?
Okay.
It's not the day, right? We will be going through that. Now you can add your own local folders also. If you have some data in your local system, you create a container. These are all containers which I've created. You go to that container. Inside this container, you will have an option called as upload. So if I just click on upload, it will ask me from which folder would you like to upload. That means you can dump your on-premise files to Blob also. Browse for files, and these are all on-premise files. Which you see, these are all on-premise files, Excel sheets, which I've dumped. And some files are automatically transformed from one location to different location. See, there is a high probability at some point of time that if you're working in a project, you're working in certain project, and you're a Power BI developer, but you are consuming data from different other teams, because other teams in the sense what? In detail, if we discuss, let's suppose I'm working for a pharma company. I'm working for a pharma company. What pharma company does? It manufactures medicines. Now, medicines doesn't mean it will manufacture, it will create a tablet and it will sell, right? There are many other things which are coming in the background. With what kind of components we need to mix in that medicine, there would be some research also done whether that manufactured medicine which is done, right, it is working as expected or not. So there will be some testing also done. So all these processes happen in the background of a pharma company. So whenever a pharma company information, where will that information stored ideally? A pharma company's information, that all information will be captured via their websites, right? So their website might be somewhere connected to backend SAP or Oracle. What is SAP? What is Oracle? These are all softwares where you store the information of supply, where you store the information how many medicines are manufactured, where you store how many medicines are maybe transported. All that information is stored, right? But from these systems, if you want to analyze the data, you cannot directly analyze, right? This information is captured by data engineers and they dump that data into certain databases, data warehouses, or storage accounts also at some point of time. So this storage account is not owned by Power BI developer because this data is the first level of extraction from their original backend sources like SAP, Oracle. We have many other applications also. You can have, I mean, a company can have their own application as well. Like there are many big pharma companies, they will have their own applications. So from their own application, for the first level of extraction, the data engineers will get that data and they will dump it into either of the storage services. So from this storage account, you cannot directly connect to report because this storage account has so much. I mean, it's a very vast data. As a Power BI developer, our emphasis is only to make sure whatever data is required for us, only capture that, save it at some place, and then connect it to Power BI. Right? It is not that you should take every data which is available. So this is first level of extraction. Power BI developers work in the second level of extraction. First level, you are not the person who are the right person to do this. These are all done by data architects or data engineers. So second level of extraction, what you have to do is this storage account will have a very big or very large volume of data. From there, whichever data is required, maybe I required only last 3 years of data. 3 years of data you need to extract. So from this storage account, you can also have one more storage account in one more subscription, or maybe in the same subscription, this storage account is owned by data engineers. This storage account is owned by Power BI developers. So whatever second level of extraction will be more extracted data, right? Because whatever data is required for reporting, only that data you consume. So storage account can be source and storage account can be destination, but both are different. This is owned by data engineers. It might be part of same subscription or a different subscription also. And this storage account is different because it is owned by Power BI developers or BI engineers. That's how the information flows. First level of extraction, we are not the right people. It is all done by data engineers. Second level of extraction, where you want more cleaned, streamed data, in that case, you go with the storage account where you dump that cleaned data and you can connect it to Power BI. Now let me go back. We discussed containers, right? So if I go to file shares, let's see what file shares it has. It is taking some time to load. You don't have any file shares yet, click plus file share to get started. Okay. And you see the difference, right? Containers are so fast that it can open accurately. What is file share? File share is, it can take a maximum of 100 TB, 100 terabytes. File share is nothing but, anyone who have worked in FTP, file transfer protocol, I mean, in any of your past, they can easily recall this if you have worked. File share is nothing but it's a kind of networking files where you can share from one folder to different folder. That can be done in containers also, but this is totally different. This is totally different, and you have different options also. You have different. Now we will discuss what is this access tier. We will discuss that as well. But this is how file share looks. It's nothing but a FTP, file transfer protocol, where you transfer your files from one server to different server, one storage account to different storage account. So it can be a folder, it can be a very big, maybe you can call it as a 1 TB, 2 TB files also. So that is called as file share. Now tables are very easy. It's very easy to understand as well, tables. And see, if you are exploring these three options, these are all time consuming. It will take some time to refresh. Whereas if I directly go to container, it's very fast. It will display that information quickly because containers are more flexible. That's the reason always people go with containers. Now, if I again go back to table, so it is asking me table name. You can create a manual table here. If you create a, I mean, if you write a table, it will give you number of rows and columns. You can write what columns you want, and you can dump what rows of information. So you can manually create a table, structured information. And if I go to queues, click on queue. It was asking me to create a queue. Queue, as I've said, it looks like a number of components, attached one after the other. Right? So whichever component enters that queue first will also exit that. So that is queue. So if you would like to have additional information, maybe you can Google it. It's very easy to understand. Our emphasis would be on containers because it can take all this information. Containers can take queue also. Containers can take files also, right? Why to again separately go with files? Container can take table also. You can dump any kind of data to container. Now, if anyone wants to access this storage account, if anyone wants to access, now you have to just use your intelligence, your own intelligence. Yesterday, we discussed a component of ADF called as linked service. So if some person is trying to connect to the storage account, either this could be source or either this could be destination. So you have two linked services, right? One for source and one for destination. So if anyone wants to connect this storage account, they have to connect it via linked service. What that linked service contain? It contains some security mechanism, right? Like username, password, or key. If you scroll down, there is an option called as access keys. If some person wants to access this storage account, they need to access it via key. This is the key. Connection string is different. This is key. And every storage account has two keys. You can use either of them. If you use this key also, and if you use this key also, it will connect. For a backup, they always give you two keys. And if you feel that the key which I have shared has been compromised, that means it has been shared with some other person who does not have an access to, but he will have an access, right? Because that key has been publicly shared. You can rotate that key. If you rotate, keys will be updated with the latest value. Anyone who is using existing key also will not be able to access the data. You have to change, you have to give the new keys to them. So access keys and username passwords are all security mechanisms for services. ADF will not have access key. Why? ADF is accessing other services. You cannot access ADF in any other service. So there are certain services which are accessing some other services, like ADF will access storage account, will access database. But you cannot access ADF anywhere, right? ADF is not a storage. ADF is for ATL. So storage account will have this access key. You have to pass this access key in the ADF, the linked service, to access the information like containers, queues, tables, anything which you would like to access, you have to pass that access. Now, if you create any container, file, or a queue, anything, if you create, if you go inside that, there is there is a functionality called as access tier. What is this access tier? What is this access tier? So there are two types of access tiers, hot and cold. Are there only two? I'm just going through the properties. If there is anything which I would like to check, metadata. We'll get some additional information also. Blob inventory, this is insights. Yeah. Ideally, there are three types of access tiers. Usually we go with two, hot and cold. There is cool also. So what does this access tier mean? See, you need to justify, you need to define also access tier. And where do you define this? See, you cannot change now. This access tier, you cannot change now. But if I'm trying to create a container, is there an option I can change any access tier? And just trying to check, right? Is there any option I can change the access tier? No, I cannot change it here also. But if I go back to the overview, in the overview, is there any option? Yeah, there is an option. So at Blob, if you create this storage account for complete storage account, containers or Blob, this is container. Blob service is nothing but a container. You can have only one access tier. You cannot have access tier differently for different files. If you would like to change this access tier, it will change for all other files. So how to identify which access tier is best fit for us? Either first, what is access tier? Let's understand. So if it's a hot access tier, that means it is frequently used. Hot means what? You are frequently using any files from that storage account are called as hot access tier because you are frequently accessing that file. Now, if I click on hot, it will give you an option to change from hot to cold. Or there is one more option called as cool also. There is one more option called as cool. Now, if I change to cool, all the files will be changed to cool. And if I change to cold, every file will be changed to cold. You cannot have separate access tier for separate files. It is at complete container or blob level or blob service level. So if you want to access storage account files in a particular storage account, that files, if you want to access on a frequent basis, always go with hot tier. Why? Because in hot tier, all the files are available in full flexibility. Now that means you can access it at any point of time. You need not wait. But if you go with hot access tier, which is by default, it is costlier. The storage account service will be costlier. It will charge you more. Why? Because hot access tier files are frequently accessed. That means you are frequently connecting the storage account from some other application. Or maybe you are using it manually also. But if it is cool, cool means what? It is neither hot nor cold. You are accessing maybe once a week, twice a week. That is fine. You're not accessing on daily basis. In that case, you can go with cool access tier. Accessing limited number of times in a week. And if you're accessing very rarely, that means once a month. And most of the times the data will be archived. So in that case, you can go with cold access tier. Cold access tier, if cold access tier is costing you 10 rupees, cool will cost you 20 rupees and hot will cost you 40 rupees. That's the ideal difference. I've just taken an example, right? Cool is in between, hot is frequently accessed, and cold means many times the data is archived. You may use it once a month or once a quarter also at some point of time. So Wherever the storage accounts are accessed once in a month, once in a quarter, they go with access tier cold. If they are accessing once a week, twice a week, or once in 2 weeks, or once in 3 weeks, they will go with cool access tier. And if they're accessing frequently, may not be daily, but maybe once in 2 days or 3 days also, they would always go with hot access tier because it is frequent access. You can access every second also. Right? So that's how access tiers are decided. By default, it is hot. You can change it to cool or cold once the store account is created. So components of storage account are what? Containers, files, tables, queues. Containers are frequently used. Storage accounts are called as ADLS and sometimes called as blobs. And we have three different access tiers because access tiers are also equally important. This can be asked in an interview that I am using storage account and I'm accessing file. I want to reduce the spending on my storage account. So I'm using a file which is present in storage account maybe once a week or once a month. Which access tier can we decide? Most of the times people will not be able to recall what is access tier, but it is very important. Hot, cool, and cold.
Cold is the cheapest, right?
Yeah, cold is the cheapest.
If we there is already one table which we have which is in hot tier, can we change it to cold and vice versa?
See, individual files you cannot change. It has to be at a complete container level. Let's suppose you have a container where one table is frequently accessed and there are 5, 6 tables which are rarely accessed. You still have to go with hot tier. That file level flexibility they haven't given. They have given a folder level. Folder means a container or a service level, like storage account. If you want to have different access tier, you have to go with different storage account, a separate service. You can create more than one storage account in the same subscription. There is a feasibility. You can have two ADFs also in one subscription, two storage accounts also in one subscription.
So we have to try. We have to like make and try and see which one is like costing less, and then go with that.
You
Right.
need not try it. See, even hot access. Okay, let me go back. I I have the storage account active since last 8 or 10 months, it seems. It is still active. And if I go to my own subscription and if I see the billing, I'm not frequently using, even though it's a hot access tier, I'm not frequently using that. But if you see KSR practice storage, it is only costing me 1 rupee, not even 1 rupee per month. Hot access tier, I've just taken an example, right? Storage accounts are so flexible that the charges for storage accounts are very cheap, very, very cheap. If you compare it with database also, databases are way more costly. Storage accounts are cheaper, cheapest storage option. Same as the Amazon S3 bucket. Same, it's one of the cheapest storage option. It's in Amazon, it's in AWS, now this is in Azure. So storage accounts, if you consider in any cloud, these are the cheapest storage options. And the KSR practice, this is your database. This is your database. Databases are costing me a lot. Maybe if I go to view details, right, it would create one more analysis for me. If I would have gone with that cool or cold access tier, it would have not charged me that 0.02 also. See, SQL databases. Storage account is very cheap. Data fact is also cheap. So databases, even though I'm not using it, I use it once a week or once a month also at some point of time. It is still costing me 282 rupees per month. This is not yearly. Per month it is costing me. So databases are costly.
Now it is evident why people are using Azure because it is so cheap.
Yeah. So there are, see, if you compare AWS with Azure also, Azure is way more cheaper, way more cheaper. That's how competitions, right? Microsoft first gives something free, they'll destroy everything, and they'll come up with their own solution. They say that we are leader, we will do whatever we want. Business. Yeah,
One more
any
question
other
here.
questions? Yeah, Madhu.
Yeah. What about Snowflake?
It's a
Snowflake is
database.
more cheap. No, it is more cheaper than storage. Also, it will be there. No? It is there.
No, 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 no. It will have a storage, but Snowflake is not cheaper than storage account. It is equivalent to database. It is equivalent. See, one thing, databases cannot store terabytes of data. Snowflake can store. So Snowflake is a data warehouse, kind of. Kind of. It's a combination of database and data warehouse where it can have a large chunk of data also. Databases cannot have that much big data. Data warehouse can.
Okay. So nowadays they are building like a combination of Snowflake's ADF and Power BI. So
Yeah,
any
Snowflake. See,
idea?
what is
Any
Snowflake?
idea?
Snowflake is nothing but a database which is upgraded database. Like it's a combination of warehouse, data mart, and databases combined together. You will have a storage account in Snowflake as well, because somewhere the data will be stored, right? So
Yes.
people go with Snowflake because they want some terabytes of information, that too in a structured manner. You can go with Snowflake. Snowflake is
Okay.
there. Snowflake is a separate service. In Azure, there is a service called as Azure Data Explorer. Azure Data Explorer. What is this Azure Data Explorer? It is sometimes called as Kusto, Kusto,
Yes.
equivalent
Yes.
to Snowflake, most powerful database as of now today. Equivalent to Snowflake. That means even Snowflake is powerful. It can take junk, it can take structured junk in the sense it's not purely junk, something semi-structured. So Snowflake is a separate service. Azure have their own internal data warehouses like database structure called as Kusto. It's a combination of SQL and big data. Same is the Snowflake.
Okay. Nowadays, the people are selecting the projects, the combination. That's why I'm asking. Is
Yeah,
there
yeah.
low cost or what is exactly?
Kusto is low cost if you compare. I mean, low cost in the sense what? If you have 10 terabytes of data, you cannot store directly in one database. You have to create two or three databases. Like one server can have two, three databases. Right? So for every database, you have to pay separately. In case of Kusto, you create only one Kusto cluster or maybe one Snowflake server, done. Everything can be dumped there.
Okay. Thanks.
Any
Hi,
other
Ritesh.
questions? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I have one question. Uh, so access tag,
Mhm.
is it actually at container level or store? So for example, I have
Storage.
multiple containers.
Yeah.
So for each container, shall I give
No.
access tag? No.
It is not at container level. It is at storage account level, at a
Okay.
service level. If you change for
Okay.
all the services, all the containers will have that same option.
Got it. So okay, for each storage account, have
Yeah.
only one access tag.
So I have so many containers, right? But
Yeah.
I'm getting only one option. I could have, I mean, it could have displayed, if it is at container level, it would have displayed that, okay, for this container, it is hot, this container, it is cold. That's how it would have displayed. But this is at
Hmm.
complete service.
Got
And to
it.
be
Oh,
frank, let me again give you an idea that access tier is not that important, but this is kind of interview question. Mostly asked in interviews. See, nowadays how interview happens, I might be saying it for my existing batch many times. There are many people available for a single role. They need one reason to reject. The reasons are like this. They'll ask you some access tier. They'll ask you some very random, silly questions. And at some point of time, if you're not able to answer it, they are not rejecting you because you don't know. They are just filtering you. That we want a person who is very pixel perfect because it's a kind of filter criteria, right? So this is one filter criteria. Access tiers is one of the filter criteria for the interviews for Azure. Any other questions? So there is an option called as lock also. You can keep a lock to that container. This resource has no lock. Resources might in the service. So you can add a lock also that only this person should open. You have that option as well. So there are many options which are available here. And for all these services, you will get this option called as resource health. Now, this is not available. Why? Resource health watches your resources and tells you if it's running as expected, okay. If it is running correctly, right? If something goes wrong, only then it will. Now, this is an alert. You need to create an alert that if the resource is not working, cloud, it can go some downtime also, right? Clouds can also have a downtime. Similarly, if there is some downtime with resource, not at cloud level, not at subscription level, at resource level also, you can have that alert created. So cloud it's a vast ocean. You have so many options in it. Now, what I will do, I'll just create a small service. I mean, how a service is created, how a resource is created in Azure. Let's try to see any random service. I'll create a storage account only. You can create it same in the ADF. If you're creating ADF also, it will be same. There is nothing different. Maybe some options will be slightly different because it's a ETL tool. This is a storage tool. So that's the only difference. Right. So I'll go to the home tab. Now, what steps you need to follow? First, you have to always start with your subscription. You have to always start with your subscription, right? Now you have your subscription. Then in that subscription, you have to go to resource group. Now I already have resource groups, but if you are very new, go to your subscription, go to resource group, create one new resource group. So while creating this resource group, it will not ask you any additional options. It will ask you the name of the resource group. Maybe I can give a name like October, November batch RG. Now, see, it is giving me some error. Resource group can only include alphanumeric underscore and it shouldn't have any spaces. That means I have to remove the space. There are some hard and fast rules. Now looks good, right? There is no error. Now, where do you want to create this resource group? Somewhere, right? Region is the most important factor. At resource group level also, it will ask you where should be your RG located, where should be your resource located. Now, some of you will have a question that if I've created resource group in US region, and I would like to create a Azure Data Factory inside this resource group in India, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. It is possible. It doesn't mean that if RG is created in India, all the resources should be in India only. It can be from a different location or region as well. There is no hard and fast rule like that. If you create in US, it has to be in US. Right. So if I create it in US, right, let's see. Tags are not required. Review and create. Review means for every resource or for every component which you create in cloud, it will give you this last option, review and create. You need to review what you have mentioned and create. So RG is very fast. It will be created in few seconds. Done. Now the question is, where is that RG? It is created. Just refresh it. Right, you will get that RG. East US. See, I have some resource group in East US also and some in India as well. So let me click on this. So subscription, resource group, inside this resource group. Now what you want to create? You can create your resources. No resources, you can create your resources. See, from subscription, you can directly jump to resource also. There is no hard and fast rule. You should go to resource. But you should remember that after subscription, there is the next level of hierarchy is resource group. If you create one resource group, that is also sufficient. In one RG, you can create many resources. So for the first time, you need to create RG. For the second time, if you're coming, you already have an RG. Directly go to resources. You can create a resource directly. So if I would like to create a new storage account, I have two options. Either go to a subscription resources and click on create, or resource group and click on new resource creation. or else you can directly search here in the global search option, storage account. So if you want to create a storage account, now you already have one storage account. Let me create one more. So it is asking me which should be the resource group of the storage account. I can select whichever resource group I want. So it will display all the resource groups. Now I'll select this resource group. Now what should be the name of the storage account? So you can give a particular name, right? So it's a practice November batch ADLS. I'll keep it like this. Name must be between 3 and 24 characters and it only contains lowercase. That means it cannot take uppercase also here. Here in the sense what's in storage account at service level. Right? It is still searching if there is something error with that name. I don't feel there would be error. Now it will be asking you region. For RG, I have selected this RG resource group. I've selected East US. Let me select some India location. So I have Central India. I'll go with Central India. Oh, why is it taking so long? Is the network issue, but let's find. Okay, now performance. Here, storage account for every services, you will get some options like performance, what will be the. So standard means what? Recommended for general purpose use. Premium means what? It will cost you more. We are not using any files which we are using it for our business or some real-time project, right? Go with standard. Now here, what is redundancy? If you hover on it, the data in your Azure storage account is always replicated to ensure durability and high availability. If something goes down in your storage account also, every time that data will be replicated in the cache. So which storage you want, which kind of cache you want. Geo isn't redundant locally. Go with local because this is lowest cost option. These are all optimized options. If you're working in real-time projects, if data is not available, if the storage account is down at some point of time, you need to use that below storages. Go with local, right? LRS, local redundant storage, right? So let me go to next. Do not click review and create in the very first step. Check the other options. Now here, it will ask me access tier. Hot, cold, whichever you want, because this is at service level. Go to next option. Enable from all the networks. I want to check because all the networks should connect to the storage account. Go with all the default options. Now there is one more option here. While storage account, if you're considering that storage account, if anything is deleted from that storage account, it will not be permanently deleted. Like in your laptops or even in the mobiles now, if you delete any file, it will store in the cache or it will store in the that bin, right? Trash bin, recycle bin. That file will still there for few number of days, maybe 30 days, whatever, for whatever duration you set, you can restore that file again. Nowadays in mobile also that option is there. In laptops, it is there since start. Right? It's been a long time. The laptops or desktop, that option is there. So in the same storage account, if you delete any files, days to retain deleted blobs, 7 days. By default, it is 7. You can increase it to 30 also. If you want to recall that file, what I have deleted, you can recall. By default, go with 7. We may not recall it. We may again load it, right? So let's go to next. This option cannot be changed after this storage account is created. Okay, that's fine. I see there is networking. Okay. Let me go to the tags option again. So it is validating whatever information we have done. I just want to the reviewer tab. I don't feel my network is slow, but why is it going very slow? Yeah. It has reviewed all the information. It will display that what you have selected in the final stage. And let me create it. Now, this is a service creation, not a resource group creation. So it will take some time. Databases will take more time because it has a server, it has a database, you have to enable it separately. Right, so it will take some time. And by the time this is created, I mean, it will give you green tick mark also once it is created. So you can check this notification option, the bell icon here in the above ribbon bar. Done. Something it is doing, right? It is changing automatically. Deployment in progress. So it will take some time. Okay, deployment is completed. Let's go to resource. So this is the storage account which we have mentioned and it has created. The storage account is created. So in overview tab, you can check what is that storage account, right? What information is present in that storage account. You have all that information. Now, let me go to container. What is this logs? Logs will capture if you have deleted anything, if you have uploaded anything. This container is by default in all the storage accounts. This is by default. And if I click on it, there is no option to delete it. Right? If I create a new container, let's suppose I'm creating a test container here and create. So the test container will be created. So if I click on it, see, I'm getting option to delete, but this logs will not be deleted. I can delete this. I can delete a container. Right? If I click on this, see, it is giving me containers which are leased, locked deletion will be skipped to the action. Okay, it is soft to delete. There is an option called as 7 days recoverable retention period. Now, what is that 7 days? There are two types of data deletions available. One is hard delete, one is soft delete. Soft delete means you can recall it. Hard delete means you cannot recall it. So delete options, recoverable options are there. If you take a hard disk, all your hard disk comes with a soft delete option. If hard disk also get corrupted, right, you can get the recovery. Why? Because it's a soft delete hard disk. By default, all your hard disks are soft delete. Hard disk, memory cards, all soft delete. Most of them in world, every storage account, almost every storage devices, storage services are soft delete. Hard delete is very difficult because if you delete, it is deleted permanently. You cannot recall it. Okay, so fair enough. We discussed more components and more insights related to storage account and how a service is created. Same way you can create a data factory. Same, it will ask you the name of data factory, which region. Now, as I've said, right, I've created this storage account in a different, I mean, this RG belongs to East US, but I've created a storage account in Central India. It can take. Right? And if you would like to move means fraud. Move from one RG to different RG to different subscription or to different region. You can move to different region also. You would like to move from Central India to different region, you can move it as well. Okay, so good for today, what we discussed. Let me go back. Just give me a second. So one who doesn't know, again, this is what we would be covering. We already started with Data Factory. We already started with storage services like ADLS, Blob storages. We already started, right? So there are the other services also which are equally important for Azure Data Factory, which are used in combination of Data Factory, right? So we will be discussing that as well. So from next week onwards, we would be starting with the real-time usage of the ADF, the pipelines. How do we connect? How do we create it? Right? How linked services data sets are created. That's how we would be starting with. So I'm open for questions. Again, prior going to questions, Monday to Friday sessions, 22 sessions for this Fabric and Azure, what we have discussed, right? 22 sessions. So if I would like to compare, right, storage account is available in Fabric. Yes, it is available in Fabric. It is called as one lake. The names are different. It is just called as one lake. So Monday to Friday, 8 to 9:30, same time. From next week onwards, anyways, people who are already there with Power BI and SQL, they'll anyways continue. One who would like to understand, one who would like to go through these sessions, feel free to connect with our team. That will definitely help you if you're stuck at some point of time. Now, I'm open for questions.
Ritesh, for every session of this ADF, can we get some kind of notes because there are a lot of steps involved in and every time we have to go through the recordings and all.
I
A lot of
I can
time consuming
write
for us.
that notes. I can write that notes parallel if you want.
Yeah, please provide. Otherwise, like it takes a lot of time to every time to go through the recordings.
Now, see, the question is if you are new to any service or new to anything, learning new, that's how it is. Steps, okay, even you have to go back and check the steps, but not every time it is good to go to the steps. I'll note it down. How do we mention it? At some point of time, it would be useful. But the question again stays, if I write it down, it will take maybe 20, 30 minutes additional for that session. So if everyone is okay, I'll definitely write it. Let's have a discussion on that maybe from next week. We'll decide. Maybe we can have some person who can write it down parallel, or I can help them, right? I can tweak that information. Okay, this is how it is written. And maybe we can automate it also. ChatGPT Copilot, we can automate it. I can automate it. Maybe I'll share that steps anyways. Let's not worry on that.
Okay.
Any questions?
Ritesh,
Yeah.
while while learning this ADF and Azure fundamentals and basic fabrics, like is it a good practice to parallelly learn DP
Yeah,
600?
yeah, you can.
Because in DP 600, it's little bit, I guess it's different. It's called lake curves.
It is more related to Fabric rather than the Azure. AZ900 is for Azure. So, I mean, you will have some similarities in both of them, but yeah, the names are different. There is no storage account in Fabric. It is called as one lake. It is called as one lake account. That's it. So the names are different. There is nothing as such totally different. The names are different. The user interface is slightly different. Behavior is same.
Okay.
As if you're using a Samsung and as if you're using some other mobile like Realme or Redmi. Both are Android mobiles. At some point of time, both have that same functionality, but user interfaces are different. Any other questions? So probably next week on Monday, there will not be session. Probably Tuesday we can start. But if at all there is a session, and if there is no session, rather, we would always consider that it would start from Monday. But if at all there is no session, I'll also let you people know if there is a session also, but it would be non-technical, maybe something related to resume or something they'll start in between. And then from Tuesday onwards, for sure, because I have some work early morning in the Monday, work in the sense somewhere around 8:39. So I would not go take a session in between and I'll jump. That's not good, right? So that would be updated. That's a separate part. But anyways, who are sufficient, who are good enough to understand what we discussed, would like to continue, please reach out to our team. Now, either you can directly log into the KSR website with your Gmail, right? You can log in and you can access this course, you can purchase this course, even that option is there. Or else you can reach out to our team. The contact numbers are clearly mentioned below, right? You can have a WhatsApp chat as well. If you click with us, what chat with WhatsApp, anyways, someone from our team would be chatting with you, right? So you have that chat option also enabled. So I'm not sure how many of you have explored this website. This website has so many information. You can download some resumes also, right? There is some resumes as well. You just have to explore this website. Like if you go to study material, you can download some study materials which are freely available, right? So from the questions point of view, from the interview point of view, that are all covered by us. Maybe we would share you all that information. Uh, People already joined with SQL Power BI. Yeah, there are many files, questions shared with you. You can go through them. Right, same would be the for Azure, what we will be discussing, Azure and Fabric. I see there are no questions. I'll still wait for 4 or 5 minutes and then maybe we can wind up.
Hey Ritesh, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Still, I got confused whether I take this class because, as I mentioned earlier, I came from the reporting background. The next another 2 years, I have a project. I don't have any issue in my current work. But as I mentioned earlier, I want to upgrade my skill. But still, I got confused.
I'll simplify it for you. Would you like to stay in the reporting for next 2 years?
No, I want to move to cloud side or something different.
Then I'll say no. Go with the data engineering.
Sorry?
Go with data engineering. This is not good fit for you. If you would like to stay, maybe you would like to start with some data engineering now, understand ADF, would like to have 1.5 year of your career stay that continuity track with ADF, additionally doing some pipelines and all that stuff, you can go with this course. But if you directly want to switch in next 3 months, 6 months, or maybe in pace of 1 year, right? Then the data engineering is good fit for you.
Okay.
Now you have to decide whether you would like to see. I'm not saying to stay for 2 years or 1 year. It is up to you. You would like to start with basics or you would like to fully have that mode activated that I want to learn Python, I want to learn all that stuff. You can go with data engineering.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Hi, Ritesh.
hey, Deepa. Yeah.
Snowflake differs from data engineering.
Yeah,
Both are
it is
same or what? Can I get
it is different. It is different. Snowflake is different. Snowflake developer role is different. We have a different training for Snowflake that is totally different. There is no reporting in Snowflake.
Okay.
It's
What
a
is
separate.
Snowflake
It
program?
is a storage service only. It's a storage. It's a SQL. Storage SQL. Snowflake is a RDBMS. Something related to. It's not purely RDBMS. It's a big data combination. Not always RDBMS, but it is. You can write the SQL scripts in Snowflake.
Okay. So which is
Any
not related to AWS or Azure, right?
Snowflake is an independent service. So
Okay.
it is integrated in all the clouds also, and it is separately available as well. So it is
Okay.
not that Snowflake is only in Azure. It is in AWS as well, and it is independent, like Databricks. Databricks is also a separate service.
Okay. In some job descriptions, they are asking like Snowflake. They should that the person should know Snowflake ADLS.
Now I'll let you know. Let me
Uh,
simplify that for you. Maybe many might have a question. They will not use pure SQL database, they'll use Snowflake. What you write in SQL, if you know SQL, you can write Snowflake very easily. There is no difference. Very easily you can write. If you would like to completely work as a pure Snowflake developer, not only reporting. See, again, I'm trying to say a person who works in Power BI knows SQL, he can write script in Databricks. He can write script in database. He can write script in Synapse. He can write script in Azure Data Factory, or sorry, Azure Data Explorer like Custo. He can write script in Snowflake. All these are databases.
okay.
If you're only focusing like a SQL developer, which is equivalent to Snowflake developer, for them this Snowflake is recommended. Snowflake is just a storage. It's a database. You have to write a script and take it to Power BI. Our emphasis would be more on reporting, more on ADLS, more on ADF. That's the reason we never compare. We have already covered SQL. So we just cover SQL. We are not focusing on Snowflake or Azure Data Explorer or some other storage like databases. It's one and the same. End of the day, if you know how a SQL is written, you can write it anywhere.
Okay. Got it, Ritesh.
So if anything you're targeting, right? Target is what our aim is to learn Power BI more. Snowflake is just a primary. It's not a kind of secondary. Primary skill is Power BI. Primary skill is your cloud. Then the database is all that comes into picture.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Hello.
Yeah, Rosh.
Yeah, so under the fabric, like, what are the things that you are gonna cover? Because I've seen, because I joined little late.
Okay,
Uh,
no worries. Have you joined today only, or have you joined previously? I mean, the last four sessions.
Today only I joined just 20,
Oh,
20 minutes back.
oh, no worries.
I
I
before
see
you
from
get,
the fabric point of view,
yeah,
I'll just give you a highlight. If you log into this KSR website, even if you're not enrolling, that's not a big deal, right? So if you log in, you can still check the first four sessions freely. That is
okay,
also already available in YouTube. You visit the KSR YouTube channel, go to live option, not the videos, live option. There are already live sessions already recorded. You can go back and check. But what I would be covering from the fabric point of view, whatever is mentioned here in the Azure, like Data Factory is also available in Fabric, I'll be covering. There are no services like keywords or service principles in Fabric. But in Fabric, we have SQL endpoints, we have one lakes like storage accounts, we have notebooks in Fabric that also we will be covering. We have a combination of some other services like alerts are there. So whatever is required from the data analyst point of view, what we cover in Azure as it is, which is available in Fabric, we will be covering. We are not going to cover data models. It is also part of Fabric, but it
yeah,
is also from the data
that is what
analyst.
I wanted to check for the semantic model, creating
Yeah,
reports
yeah.
kind of.
Okay. Semantic model is not Fabric. Semantic model is all Power BI. It's a data model. So Fabric, whenever you deploy any the pipelines or storage services, there is no semantic model for that. If you deploy a report only, there is a semantic.
Okay. So
So
that can you help us to create the end-to-end one development from the data ETL activities by using all the fabric like pipelines and all, and at the end creating
yeah,
the and then
yes,
creating,
yes. That would be there. That would be there.
because that is the end goal, right? Ultimately,
Yeah,
we have.
that would be there. End
Okay.
goal is what? We have some storage account, we have some database, everything is dumped there. We have to clean it, we have to dump it somewhere and then connect it to Power BI. That's the end goal. So that would be there.
And the lake house and the warehouse, both you will be covering, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Still any other questions?
And how much can we expect after this? Because currently I'm working as a lead and E&Y.
Okay.
But my primary role is into Power BI.
Pure
So
Power
even
BI.
exploring the fabric, but not I'm not pretty much confident with that. So I thought of to transition into the fabric. So
Okay.
what expect we can have, like how much we can expect the kind of hikes and all if I look for any other changes.
So you're only working on Power BI, or you also develop some SQL scripts also from the source?
It's a very basic of SQLs, writing normal queries. It's not very, it's not a very big store procedure kind of thing. It's a very normal SQL query that we write just for
Select statements, where clauses, that's how you write, right?
tracking the data. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So in that case, maybe at some point of time, cloud is anyways required, right? So I'll give you how the exposure is. See, if you know only Power BI and if you're already into market, the risk is low for you people who are entering this market only with Power BI. For them, it is difficult. So one who knows Power BI with a combination of cloud, you can expect a minimum experience into 3.5. Minimum experience into 3.5. It can be 4, it can be 4.5, it can be 5. Anything greater than 5 is at risk. Risk is what? A company can give you, if you have 4 years, they can give you 20 lakhs. But there is a very high chance that if something goes wrong, nowadays companies are firing a lot, right?
Yeah.
Layoffs. So if you're into this bucket, you are at risk. Risk in the sense, if you feel you're confident enough, I can get a job, then there is no risk for you. But minimum you can expect 3.5 is what I suggest, or maybe is available in the market. So let's suppose you have 8 years, 7 years of experience, 7 into 3.5 is minimum you, maybe 4, 4.5 also you can expect. But if you only know Power BI, the hikes are slightly lesser on the lower side. They'll not give you a very good hike. Existing, they'll give you 20, 30. That's not more than that. You cannot go beyond that. If you know this cloud, yeah, it would be added advantage for them, right? They need not have a separate data engineer for you to work on this.
Okay. That's okay too.
Maybe any other questions?
Ritesh, do you have any idea about the US market regarding the cloud?
We have a very good team from KSR who deals with all this US. If you connect with Mahesh, for sure he will definitely help you. We have a dedicated number of people helping US folks only. There is a
Mm-hmm.
separate set of people. At point of time, even I'm involved in that, but I'm not purely involved. So how the market is, what all hikes are there, how do you create a US resume? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
everything is done by KSR. We have a team in US. In the
Okay.
US, in the sense we have contacts, we have a very good contacts.
Mm.
Yeah, so that is there. Only in US, European countries, we have our own members who are own students who are working in European countries. They would help you. Rather in US,
Mm-hmm.
we have our own team.
Okay, thank you.
Just one queries I have. Uh, for me, it's been 7 8 years. Okay, and I'm more into a kind of technical as well as functional. So for the
Okay.
technical roles and all. But as you said, I am getting multiple calls for the interview, and the interview is getting scheduled. But even though I speak about the fabric, the cloud, and the Power BI things, and all, what they do is they are also, giving a kind of very logical SQL questions or Power BI questions that really needs to have a kind of copilot or something to get a help of it. It's a very complex. They will give you a situation
Maybe
box and they
can
ask
you
you.
explain me any question? Can you help me with any question which you felt is very difficult to answer?
It is not about the answering it. They will give you some logical based question and and ask to write the DAX on the chat bot, like in the chat, or they will ask you something kind of SQL queries and ask you to write the SQL queries. So see, after for like 7 8 years, we are more of managing something kind of project from the top, right? breaking down and then explaining to the resources. They can do it by using, or even we are integrating the copilot using that things and writing simple, okay, done. But again, it's a very how we can cope up with that things if they are asking to write it something in front of us.
That's what I'm trying to say, right? If any question which you can recall that I was not able to, or you were not able to pick up, can you help me with that? Maybe how do we bifurcate? I'll let you know. Anything which you can recall.
Okay, that how to recall, because it's a
See, one could be from the ADF or from the fabric point of view, one quick question which you can easily expect. This is common question, but it changes with the perspective of what they are asking. Let's suppose I have a database and which that database, or maybe I have a data lake or a data warehouse. And in that data warehouse, I have maybe 15, 20 GB of data, and there are some thousands of tables. So what I want is I have only want 100 tables to be picked up on daily basis, and that should be dumped to storage account, which should be cleaned. And that tables, I'll be writing a query or I'll be connecting to Power BI on daily basis with the latest update. So this is one common question. Now question changes with respect to the size of data, right? You may have 5 tables, you may have 15 tables, you may have 500 tables, but question remains same. They will only change the functionality, size of data, number of tables.
so these are, again, it's a qualitative question that we can answer it. So the question,
Yeah.
like, if I give you a SQL queries like, okay, this is my table, this is the data wise sales, and
Uh,
we also have a discount into it. You have to keep discount into the mind and write SQL queries to get
hmm.
the. So
So this
all again,
discount is what?
yeah,
Okay.
right. That SQL again. If I keep if the same statement into a Copilot, I can simply get a queries. I can
Hmm.
I can do it. I know how to deal with the uh, work and all. But
Hmm.
the same, like on the over the calls, if they ask to write the queries, okay, then it is little complex. How to deal with that kind of situations?
It's not complex. You are in a fear, and that is common for everyone, not you. Every individual goes through that. So it's a kind of fear mode that we always fear that, okay, am I confident enough to write? See, one thing for sure you have to learn in interviews. You should be, even if you're wrong, you should be confident. Even if you're wrong, what makes your confidence is at some point of time, if you can write a query also, if it is wrong, you are confident, okay, that's fine. But if you have a less confidence and you think you can write a query correctly, still you will, I mean, that confidence will make sure that, oh, I cannot write. So build that confidence first. You can write it in a interview, but because lack of confidence, you come down. Maybe I already discussed with Power BI batch I've been doing since first day. In
Yeah.
this current IT world, 70 percentage of people are in fear. 30 percentage are out of fear. They have already gone through that bucket. You should be part of that 30 percentage. And even in next 10, 20 years, that 70 percentage will remain as it is. It will not decrease. 30 percentage people will only be in out of fear. So you have to come out of that bucket. First is build confidence. Wrong, be confident. At some point of time, that confidence will make you more correct.
Okay. So that means we
And
have
this,
to.
yeah, this is not with you, everyone. I'm been trying to say, right? If there are people back from our Power BI and SQL, you can remember people who have already joined. I've been trying to say the same thing. Come out of fear. Come out of fear. If you're wrong, also come out of fear. Confidence will build that at some point of time. Same confidence will make you write the perfect queries. And again, I'll let you know. I mean, there are some random people while taking interviews who are very foolish that they expect a query to be crystal clear without any errors also, maybe runtime error or some semantic error, small errors also. Fine. What is important for a person is to understand the logic and write a logic. Small errors can be rectified. I see, even if I take interviews, I never expect a person to write a perfect query. What I see is if his logic is correct or not, the order of execution is correctly mentioned or not in C. That is more important, right? If some person is writing select star and then he's writing from table afterwards, and before that he's writing where condition. It will not work, right? That order of execution is important. How do you write a logic is important. Writing perfect queries is different.
Okay.
So build confidence. That confidence, yeah, I'll always say in every session, build that confidence, come out of fear.
True. Thank you.
Okay, fair. It's 9:42, 15, 12 minutes more past our time. Thank you, everyone. Anyone who is interested, anyways, you can reach out to our team. Definitely, already there is a common link shared in this chat. You can go to the recordings also if you want to check the last 4 days recordings. And anyways, our team will also reach out to you if some point of time you have reached out and they are not able to answer, right? So from Monday or from next week onwards, the sessions would be paid. So that's how it goes. Yep. Thank you, everyone, and have a very good weekend ahead.